Hey everybody, Mike, the Golden State Picker. I don't have anything I sold. I don't have anything I found. Today is all about one thing, books, and how to sell them on Amazon, specifically Amazon FBA. So if you're new or a beginner to books, this is the video for you. There's stuff in there for the intermediate and advanced also. But basically, I'm going to take you on a journey from my start to finish, basically my entire process, how I scan, how I list, how I reprice, all the way down to shipping them on Amazon, the whole 9 yards. I'm going to show you some of the numbers that I've done, how many books I sell approximately a month on Amazon, the whole thing, completely transparent. So if you're a beginner, you don't have to go skipping around to find a video here, a video there, because that's what I did when I first started out. Nobody made a video like this. One long one. This is an hour and 45 minutes long, but there's good news. You don't have to watch it every single time. There's timestamps. Hit the more button. That drops down a window just below the video with timestampings for every section of the video. You can go back. You can go forward. You can do whatever you want. And also, it has all of my hardware, all of my software also in that little description. So if you want to click that, some of them have 14-day trials, all that kind of stuff. I'm excited because, hey, I'm going to help people. And that's what this channel is about. It's about helping people. And I think this one is going to clarify a lot of things, especially for beginners and new people who are doing Amazon FBA who still have some questions. All right, let's go have some fun. Let's go sit at the computer and try and figure this all out and make some money selling books on Amazon FBA. All right, guys, let's go have some fun. Hey everybody, Mike, the Golden State Picker, and who is ready to learn how to sell books on Amazon FBA? If you're new and you're trying to figure out how to sell books on Amazon FBA, this is the video for you. I've been selling books for about 3 years on Amazon FBA. I've learned a lot over my 3 years, and especially this last year, I've learned even more. And I'm going to pass along my tips, the things that I use to sell books on Amazon, from hardware to the software. I'm going to show you step by step how I put books in and just give you some tips as how to be as efficient as possible to sell books on Amazon FBA. Now, the video will be long, so I will have timestamps in the description down below. That will help you skip forward to certain sections, especially if you're more of a intermediate or an advanced person and you don't want to watch all of it. You can skip around, come back to it if you want to learn something and you say, oh, I can't remember about Repriceit. I'll have a section you just bump over so you don't have to scrub through the whole video. So that was a part of the reason why I wanted to make a whole new video, is clean it up, tighten it up, and make it easier for everybody. I can tell you that it was daunting when I first started. There was no video out like this where it was all in one. I had to kind of piecemeal from here and put it together, and it took me a while, and I probably lost a good, I'd say 6 months of just frustration and back and forth, and it was not easy. So that's the plan here, is to try and give you some help as far as the video goes, so that you can say it's for me or it's not for me. I will inform you here that it's not easy. I want to be straight up. I'm not one of those people who are going to try and sell you something. It does require some work. It does require some sourcing. But if you can put it together and you can figure it out, there is some good, steady income from Amazon. Now, I am basically retired, so I have a certain number that I'm looking at, and I'm sitting at it right now. The number that you see is kind of makes me happy. I'm not interested in taking this business to be $1 million business, anything like that. You have to decide where you want to be also on Amazon, how much you want to make. It's basically like you've always heard, what you put in is what you get out, and that's the truth. The more you put into Amazon, the more you're going to get out of it. Same thing with eBay. The more you list, the more you get out of it. Amazon is a beast. They will sell your books. You need to get the books because they will sell them, especially if you get some pretty good ones, and we're going to show you some today. So Don't forget, go down below, hit the More button just below. That opens up the window. You will see everything that I'm showing you here. All the hardware, all the software, links to all of them. Some of the software has free 14-day trials, that kind of thing. Take a look at them. And hey, if this is for you, then off you go. This is going to help you dramatically, especially if you're a beginner, okay? So let's get right into it. Let's take a peek and let's start off with some hardware. You do need some hardware to make this work. You need a scanner basically, and I have two scanners. One is a desktop model and one is that I use in the field. I will show you both of them. You can get away with just one, but I have two. They're not that expensive. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first one. And right off the bat, the first one here is by Nadamoo. Very good company, very consistent company. That's what I like, is neither of their products has broken down or caused me any problems since I've used them. So if I'm showing you it is still working and I haven't had any problems, okay? So no problems. This is the Nadamoo wireless barcode scanner, and basically this is the one I use right here, and I use it at home. We're going to use it to scan books that are going to go into Amazon. This guy is about $70. Not bad, but if you don't want to use that one, you can find another one. But Nadamoo is a good brand. So let's go on to the second one. Second scanner. This one's a must. You need one of these. This one here is basically the wireless one that you're going to use in the field when you're scanning books in the field. So like if you're buying bins of books or if you're at a library sale, if you're not using one of these, you are at a distinct disadvantage, while all the other scanners are going to be using something like that. This also is a Nadamoo. It's a 2D wireless barcode scanner, and this one is $69. I've dropped it in all kinds of conditions and it's still working. It's still working. Haven't had to change it or buy another one. It's stood the test of time. You can see that I purchased this one on February 15th, 2021. So it's almost a year and a half on this particular guy. All right, so you do, I feel, need a scanner, and you're going to need one of the pieces of software if you're going to just start, and you don't want to buy the other monthly recurring cost of the other software. But this here is, I feel, is a must. This particular type scanner. And up next, this is the printer I used. You can use whatever printer you want, but I like the Arkscan. There is the one brand I would stay away from, and I'm going to tell you, is Nadamoo. I think Nadamoo is just not going to hold up for you. I've heard too many horror stories with Nadamoo. The Arkscan shipping label printer, the 2054A, is what I use. Now, some people would use the Rollo, really good printer, a little bit more money. I have a tight space, so I wanted it all in one because the labels go inside. It does 4x6. It does the small, I think these are 2 7/8 by 1 7/8, something like that. They do these. That's what we use for the books. So you basically need 4x6 labels and then the small labels for the book. And you can easily switch back and forth between the two. Solid printer. You can see I bought all these at the same time when I upgraded. Last purchase February 15th, still going like a rock. Not a problem whatsoever. All right. Now, after that, we need a scale. And I just bought a new scale. Just got it this month. And I have used their product. I have their smaller version. This is Accuteck, the ABC 200. This guy here, I was stunned how good this is. I'm telling you, this is a really good scale. It's 200-pound rated, so it's perfect for books because our book boxes are going to weigh about 50 pounds. We need a little bit of heft. The other scale that Accuteck makes was 100 pounds, but it was just a little bit too lightweight for the doing books, so I got this one here. I'll tell you what, for $38, I don't know how they do it. Great deal. I mean, really a solid scale. So all of that hardware is down below in the links if you want to take a look at them closer on Amazon. I don't think it's that much money, but I feel like you're going to have to put out some money to get started, and that's not a whole lot of capital when you're thinking that you could potentially make some really good money doing Amazon books, okay? All right, now we're going to get into the software section. And we're going to try and break everything down as we go along. I'm first going to give you the cost of every piece of software. Then I'm going to go into basically doing a whole run of books to show you how each piece works. I will do Repriceit probably in between when I do printing labels, just to kind of go over Repriceit with you in that little pause. So, all right. First up, this is a must, okay? Right here is a product called ScoutIQ, and you'll see it in working order in just a little bit. But now ScoutIQ is basically a scanner that scans the UPC code or the barcode on the back of the book, this little thing right here. It also can scan the ISBN number, and it also can scan a title. Very, very cool piece of software. Now you're looking at it, you're going, oh, monthly it's $44, annually it's $36. If you break it down, I'm going to tell you which plan I use, and it's neither one of those. We're just at the front screen. So I feel you need this wireless scanner and ScoutIQ no matter what. No matter what to start, you need both of those. Now, ScoutIQ has basically two pricing plans. First one is what is called right here, if we look at it, it's Live Plus Database, okay? That means you get two functions of it. First, you can download a database to your phone. It doesn't take up a lot of space, but you can download a database. So how are you going to use that? Let's say you're at a book sale and the book sale is in a rural area and there is no Wi-Fi. No Wi-Fi or, I thought I heard it noise. No Wi-Fi or a cell phone signal. You can use the database. It might be an hour old because you download that just before you get to the sale and you have the database available to you. It's also live. Live means goes right to Amazon. The price you see is the current price on Amazon. It is live, okay? That is $44 a month. Wow, that's kind of steep. Now, I'm in Silicon Valley, and I can tell you the one that I use, and the only one I use if you click live only, is live only, and it is $14 a month. I've been using this since day one, and I have not had one problem. Now, that's because I have, everywhere I go, I have Wi-Fi or cell phone signal, have never had a problem. So it hasn't, it's paid for itself over and over at $14 a month. So if you want to just dabble, it's $14 a month. They have a plan for free for 14 days, and you can try it out. But that's what I use. That's the difference between live database and live only. And if you buy it annually, it's $10, so you can pay $120 and you're done for the entire year. So really, really just a super piece of software. I can tell you, paid for itself hundreds and hundreds of times over. All right, next up. Several pieces here, several pieces of software here. Scanlister is one of them. Inventory Labs is another. I happen to like Scanlister. Okay, I'm not knocking Inventory Labs, but I do like Scanlister for myself. Okay, I don't do that many books, so I find it very simple, and we'll go over that in a minute. Basically here you do have a monthly subscription to. It's $24 a month, 14-day free trial. But if you're bold, you can pay the lifetime purchase here of $499, one-time payment, and you get it for $500, and you get 5 license keys. So if you're doing a lot of books from other people, so like you've got a business, you got 3 or 4, and you can have it on 3 or 4 or 5 computers, Mac or PC, so it works on either one. I will tell you that Scanlister and the next piece of software basically really upped my game on Amazon. It really changed how I did books. ScoutIQ was the beginning. Once I started doing Scanlister and Repriceit in combination, my sales then really took off, okay? So that's $24 a month. All right, this is the one that confuses a lot of people and they feel like it's very daunting. This is called Repriceit. Repriceit is basically a set it and forget it piece of software in general. You're just going to set it one time and set some parameters, and it's going to help you reprice your books. What does that mean? If you are not repricing your books, okay, and you're sending a book in, let's say you send a book in and the book is $9.95, and you're not using a repricer, somebody can come in and undercut you at, let's say, $9.90, and yours is now stuck above that, okay? And you're going to have a problem eventually selling books consistently. Now, there's a lot of people who say, oh, you know, what is this, a race to the bottom? You hear that, right? Let me tell you, there are millions and millions and millions of books out there. And I've been using Repriceit, and I have never had a problem where one of my books just raced to the bottom. It doesn't happen that way. It just doesn't. You set parameters so that won't happen, so that somebody won't just dump a book on you and then it lowers the price down on you and you lose it. That just won't happen. Won't happen, guys. Another very good piece of software. I like that, number one, you just set it and you forget it. That's truly what you do. Occasionally I go in and look at it, but that's all you need to do. We'll go over it in a little bit. Now, there's several levels here of pricing. Basically, I'm a merchant. 2,000 books to 5,000 books. Take a drink real quick. And that's where I'm at. So I'm paying $24.95 or $25 a month. You can go a little higher at $29.95, but that's a lot of books. I'm telling you, I feel like I do a lot of books, and I've got, technically, I think I have about 3,000 in, so I really haven't even come close to the 5,000 mark. You can upgrade, but I feel like, hey, you know what? Just do the 2,000 to 5,000. I think that's pretty safe to start with, and then you can always upgrade if you have to. All right. So we're going to get going here. Now, that's the three pieces of software. Those are linked down below also, so take a look at them. And now we're going to get started. All right. So the first thing we have to do is we're ready to go. I've got some books over here. I'm going to go through about five books. I'm going to go through 5 books. I'm going to go through 5. So I want to give you a variety here, a spice little, the variety, so you just don't get one book. You kind of can see how I'm thinking on several books, so we'll take a look at that. So first thing we got to do is we got to open up Scanlister, and I'm going to open it up. It's this little lightning bolt in a circle, so if I click it, now you're going to notice right off the bat here, if you're looking at this, I've already populated some books. I've already populated 31 books. The reason for that is I'm going to show you these 5 here, and these 5 are going to be added to this, and then we're going to ship this list to Amazon, and that will allow me to then create the box that I'm doing over here. I'm going to show you a picture of a box that's already on the scale. What we do is we get a box and we put it on the scale. Now, the box and books total cannot weigh more than 50 pounds. Don't try to go 49.8 ounces, that kind of thing. Don't try and do that. Just try and put in about 48 pounds of books into the box. So we can put the box on the scale and then start adding books to it. I'll show you a picture of it sitting on the scale right now. This is why you need a little bit more hefty scale right here. Just helps the box lay flat, nice and flat, and gives you an accurate weight, because you do not want to go over 50 pounds. If you do, Amazon's going to ding you. They're not going to like that. Amazon has some very strict rules, and you just don't want to have a problem. You don't want to have a problem. All right, before we start to scan a book, because we're going to use Scanlister on the fly to teach you. I mean, not Scanlister, but ScoutIQ. ScoutIQ we're going to use on the fly. I'm going to start with Scanlister. Now, Scanlister is the intermediate software between you and Amazon. You put your books into the software, then they do everything. They send it over to Amazon and create the list. Boy, I gotta take another drink. They create the list. All right. So this is why it's just such a great piece of software. So let's go over the whole piece of software so you can figure out. It looks daunting. It's really not. It's really not. Up on the top here, we'll start up in the top left corner. up in the top left corner, you're going to see a thing called the SKU prefix. Now, you're going to see that I've used it many times different ways. I now put my area code. That's all. I just put my area code. You'll see it later on where it pops up at and why. I don't want this big long number. I really don't. I don't want a big long number. So that could be anything you want. Maybe your area code is just simple. It's basically a piece of a numbering system that goes into Amazon, and you will see it on your back end. That's all that is. Now the SKU sequence, what I do is every year at the first of the year, I reset that to 0. So that 6,590 is the number of books I have put in this year to Amazon. And you'll see that in play too on the back side of Amazon. You can put whatever. Some people like to set it to 0 every time they do a shipment. I don't know why. I like to keep a strong sequence because that just tells me, hey Mike, you're putting 6,590 books this year. It's kind of a positive reinforcement. Let's keep going, that kind of thing. All right, down below that, you're going to see supplier. And that's where you could, if you have one supplier and you want to just name it, you can say it's Goodwill. You can put Goodwill in there. I just put bins. Simple. Most of the books come out of the bins. I do bins. There it is, bins. Date purchased. I always keep this one to the day that I ship it. It's just me personally. That's just how I do it. And you could put the date purchase. So like if you purchased a whole load of books 3 or 4 days ago, put that in. Put whatever you want. I'm going to put in, this is going to change because this is going to be 6/18 because today's the 17th. So there's 6/18. And I'm going to change that just for me personally. That's what I'm going to do. Up next is the default price. Now, don't get confused by this one. This one's kind of a little weird. Just put $100 or whatever you want, because if your book goes in and it doesn't have a price, it will default set it for $100. But if you've got a repricer, it will automatically reprice it for you. Some people set that at $4.99. I bet most people will probably set for about $100. So I set that for $100. Nothing complicated there. The default quantity, that's 1. We don't want to set a default quantity of 2. Then every time you scan a book, it's going to print out 2 labels and you're going to be messed up. So that's 1. Cost per unit. Now I'm going to change this one down to 0.50. Okay. And there's a reason for that. We will talk about that in a little bit. But basically, let's say that you guys, there's a reason for me doing 0.50. For you guys, whatever it is. So let's say you went to a library sale and every book was $1. You could put a cost per unit of $1. Once you scan it, it's going to help you adjust, take away $1 from your profit line. I'm going to change that to 50 cents, and I will explain what that means for me in a little bit. Condition, you can set a default condition. I set all my default condition that pops up. That doesn't mean that it's going to automatically say every book is very good, but it pops up. And I can tell you that I think about 70% of my books are very good. So I want to have that as my default setting, and we'll show you that in a minute. Down below this condition note for very good, pages are clean with no markings, ships direct from Amazon. I will tell you, don't overcomplicate the whole thing. You can get into some trouble. I keep it as simple as possible. You hear that all the time. Keep it simple, period. I have a perfect feedback rating on Amazon. So that tells me that I'm doing something okay with my description of my books, okay? And this is the way I do it. Now you can do it completely different and other people do it completely different, but remember, this is the way I do it. When we scan a book in, I'm going to show you down here now. When you scan, let's whoops. The marketplace is Amazon.com, that's obvious, but one thing we got to go over is the listing method right here. This is an important one, listing method. You're going to do a detailed listing. If we click this little button, it's going to drop down. There's going to be a bulk listing. That is for a lot of books, meaning let's say you have stacks of, let's say you have 1,000 books. And what the big guys do, like the Reezy Resells and them, they will stack them by very good, good, acceptable. And they'll have stacks of books like that. And then they'll just run a bulk listing where they'll be entering in just the book and not a price. and then when it gets into Amazon, their repricer will then give it a price, okay? That's not me. I do them individually by boxes. That's just my preference. And I'm not a big time bookseller, but if you were a big time bookseller, you would be using a bulk listing function on here. And the detailed listing, we'll go over that in a minute. You'll see what it basically is showing us, okay? Down below here, you've got when you scan a book, which we'll show you in a second, it's gonna put all this information that Amazon has into here. It's gonna show you the weight of the book, all that kind of stuff, the rank of the book. It just fills it in for you automatically. You know, I hear people say, wow, isn't it expensive to do Amazon FBA books? You gotta pay Amazon every month. Let's break down that cost real quick while we're here. I feel for the money that I pay Amazon, I get thousands more times value, period, just period. I just get more value. If we take a look, if we go full bore and you use every piece of software and Amazon, the pricing is pretty reasonable, I think. So let's break it down, okay? Let's get rid of the hardware because that's a one-time purchase. But if you're going with the monthly stuff, the ScoutIQ is $15. If you go with Scanlister, it's $25. Repriceit is $25. Right there is $65. Now, if you throw in Amazon, because Amazon FBA is going to charge you $40 a month, so there's $40. Now you have $105 in fixed cost per month. That's all your software. That's Amazon too. Everything, $105 a month. I mean, to do books like I'm doing, that to me is an extremely good value. That's what you want to find. You want to find good value to your money. And I think $105, trust me, $105 is nothing to make some good money selling books on Amazon, okay? All right, so that takes care of, you know, kind of the cost. We're getting got over our skis on that one a little bit, but I forgot to mention it. Now, the other thing that messes people up is the printer settings. And so where do you find them? Because every piece of software has some funky twist to it or something. But right here, Scanlister, where do you find your settings, right? It's all the way down in the lower right corner. If you go down to the lower right corner, you get a settings button. Click it. I have it set to open on printer settings. We're not going to talk about all these other modes. They're nothing big back here. The only thing you will need to know is when I can't click it here on my Amazon account because it'll show you my number. You're going to need what they call a token or the Amazon. You need to allow Scanlister to talk to your account via Amazon. And when you sign up with Scanlister, ScoutIQ, and Repriceit, you will have to get a token or a code from Scanlister, ScoutIQ, and Repriceit, and you will just have to enter it into the Amazon side. Once you do it, they show you how to do it. It's very simple. It's a key. It's like a key code that then allows Scanlister to talk to Amazon on my account. Okay, now not gonna do anything funky to you or anything like that, but that's what that Amazon account button is for. The other button you want to know in here is the printer settings. And this is where everybody goes, oh gosh, I can't find my printer settings. There it is. You can see for the FBA, I have Arkscan 2054A set up. I can do merchant fulfilled, and occasionally I do have a couple of merchant fulfilled books, but I don't necessarily print them with this particular piece of software. I print with just the regular printer sometimes if I have to do that. That is down here. I still set it for the Arkscan. And then 2D barcoding, which is basically labels, labels like 30 up labels on a sheet of 8.5 by 11. The one that you're concerned with if you're really doing Amazon FBA is right up here. You got to find your Arkscan, and then the label size is 1 1/8 by 3.5. That is that label right there. Okay. So there's where your settings are. All right. So we hit save and close, and now we're set. So now we're set to start entering books into the system. You'll see the barcode button here, this little barcode. If you don't click inside of it, you're gonna have a problem. So I click barcode, and now the box is highlighted in blue, and we are ready to go. Remember, I've already done 31 books. We're going to do about 5 more. So let's take a quick look at ScoutIQ. So this is going to be a piece of software that will be on your phone. And I'm going to try and get to it for you here. Let's go. All right, where is it? Here we go. When you open it up, that's what it looks like right there, okay? We're going to be interested in the ScoutIQ little target button, so we're going to click that little target button. I already have one of the books I did in there, but we're going to look at that one later. Now, we grab a book. This is our first book, Getting the Love You Want, okay? And we are going to take a scan of it. So you hit the little scanner button down here. There it is. You can see it pops up, a little scanner window. That window is going to scan this barcode, that UPC barcode. Now, if I want to switch this, I could hit ISBN. It makes a smaller box and it's going to read the number, the ISBN number. And if I click title, now you can do title search, okay? See, look at it, see it's trying to guess something, but there would be the title, you'd find it, you would click that particular book and it would pop up. That's what would pop up. So you'd hit scanner down here, go back to this, because that's what we're gonna use. That's what it looks like. Now we're going to scan. You scan it, and up on the screen is you're going to see the ScoutIQ now, okay? I just scanned this particular book, and you can see down the bottom left it says Getting the Love. Okay, so that's the book. If you take a look at ScoutIQ, it looks kind of daunting, but it's really not. Once you get used to this, it takes you very little time to figure it out. The first thing you'll notice is it's green. The bar is green. We like green. We don't like red. Red means it's a reject. Green means it's good. The second line down below that, the little white strip, is the rank of 3,000. That means it's a very fast selling book. It's got a good rank. Amazon ranks their product from basically #1 all the way to whatever else in the category it is in. So this would be in the category of books, and it might be in a subcategory, but in that category it's 3,000. That's really good. Anything under 1 million is okay. Stuff over 1 million, there's nothing wrong with that also. We'll probably show you 1 or 2 books like that. In the middle is the E-score. That is 151 plus. The E-score is basically how many times that book sells in the last 90 days. I'm pretty sure it's 90 days. A lot of people talk differently, but it's 90 days. I'm pretty positive. So that book probably sells over 600 times a year. That plus means it could be 181. I've seen 181. I've seen higher. But when you see 151 plus, that's a solid selling book. Good book as long as it's green. Trade-in, we don't deal with that. Down below in the gray bar, you see 63 used, 33 new. We're not going to deal with those particular numbers that much. Look in the left column, the all. If you look on the left column, you'll see $9.51. That is fulfilled by merchant pricing. FBA is showing nothing, but there is something there. It just is showing nothing on this particular side. And then the all, we don't have to look at that just yet. We're not going to look at that. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is I want to break down how Amazon works their profit-wise, what you're going to be charged here. The profit is the net profit if you have a buy cost of 0. If you look in the upper right corner, you see that buy cost of 0. If we tap the buy cost, okay, of this particular book, if you tap that buy cost, that's where you could put in your buy cost of $1. Let's say that you are at a book sale and all the books are $1. You would set that at $1. Now you don't have to sit there and try and subtract $1 from each book. So if you've got a book that shows $5 in your head, you'd have to do 4. You set it up in ScoutIQ. Now, I use a 0, and I will explain why I use a 0. If you've seen some of my videos, or if you're not, go back and watch some. I buy bins of books, okay, and I buy anywhere from, let's say, 1 to 3 a day, depending on the day. And I take these books and scan them, and then I've got a pile for Amazon, and then there's other books and other things, believe it or not, that are inside the bin, and I sell those on eBay. Sometimes I sell them on Amazon, but mostly on eBay. Those items pay for my cost of the bin. I pay $100 per bin. That's what I pay. So I pay for these bins over and over with what I call the ancillary stuff that goes on eBay. So my buy cost in my head is 0 for any book I send into Amazon because the bin's been paid for by the stuff I sold on eBay. It might be different for you. So if you're always buying a book and it's $1, put the $1 in the buy cost. Now, you say, what do I do when I go to a thrift store? Well, let's say I go to a thrift store. I still leave it at 0. But let's say now I'm at Savers and they've got a book for $3. Well, I just quickly subtract $3 from $5.19, $2.19. I only make $2.19. So that's what I do in the store in my head. So I don't have to constantly go in the store, change it, because sometimes they've got $3 books, $4 books, $5 books. I want to just use my head. I'll just use my head and quickly figure it out from there. All right. Now let's go up here. It's in the upper left corner and let's click the profit button. So you tap the profit button with your finger. The profit calculator shows up. And here again is everything about that particular book that ScoutIQ has scanned. The list price, that's what it's telling us to price it at. It's telling us price it, Mike, at $12.88. The buy cost, if you had $1, the $1 would be there. It's not for me, it's a 0. The referral fee, here's Amazon's fees. Yes, Amazon takes money, they take fees. The referral fee, $1.93, closing fee, $1.80, FBA fee, $3.77. They now have a fuel surcharge of 5% on top of the fees, 19 cents. That's the great thing about software like ScoutIQ. They already figured it in. They've already done that. So 19 cents. Inventory storage fee of 2 cents. My total fees are $7.71 for that book. You look at my inbound shipping, they do all that. We've got to ship these books to Amazon. You'll see that in a little bit, and you'll see how reasonable it is to ship the books. But it's already figured in with ScoutIQ. It knows that Amazon's going to charge 25 cents per pound, and the book is 6.68 pounds, 17 cents. It knows it. So that's where you're getting the estimated profit down at the lower bottom right, $5.19, $5.19. You make $5 basically on that book. All right, let's click back. The little orange box, you can see it, used by box. When you see the orange box, that is telling you that's the price you're going to set that book at. So we're now going to take the book and we're going to scan. Oh, let's go back over here. I'm sorry, I'm going to keep it up because I want to show you something here. Amazon is on this book. If you look to the right, Amazon is $15.99. Amazon is only new. They will not sell used. So you already know that that's new. You have to be below Amazon, and ScoutIQ knows that. ScoutIQ is going to tell you ways to do that to make sure that you're a certain percentage under the Amazon new price. People will say, well, won't people always just buy new? Let me tell you, no, not going to happen. A lot of times they will just buy the used one to save $2, $3, $4. Maybe in some cases even more. So don't be afraid that Amazon is selling the book new. I sell more books against Amazon probably than anything. It's fun to compete against those guys. So anyhow, let's grab the scanner. We're going to grab this scanner because this is what's hooked to my computer, and I'm going to scan the code this way. Up in the little blue box, you'll see the number. It's now doing its thing. It now is taking us over to Amazon. We are actually live on Amazon here. The center screen is grayed out. They kind of do that. I don't know why, but it's grayed out. There's the book. You want to make sure that it is the book, correct, all that kind of stuff. It is. Let's go scan up to the right here. Look on the upper right corner. You can see there's the new one for $15.99. Now, if you look up here in the upper left corner, it gives you some stuff that you need to look at. 2 FBA news, $15.99. There are 2 right now for new at $15.99. 2 people selling them. There could be more behind it. The middle column is the used price. This is the price for fulfilled by merchant. That means that people who are selling books at home, if you're doing fulfilled by merchant, you have to keep this book at the house, ship it, take all the returns, everything. You have to do everything. And let me tell you, you are going to get some returns from Amazon. Yes, they even return books. And that's the other thing that's great about doing Amazon FBA, is that you don't have to worry about that. It's just taken care of. Amazon's going to do everything for you. It's set it and forget it with Amazon once the book gets to them. And I believe it's well worth it. You don't need the stress and strain personally of trying to take care of every return. I got enough problems on eBay with returns. I don't need Amazon, because Amazon has a lot more returns and they can return it for anything. But trust me, if you do enough, you're going to be fine. You'll be fine. All right, so over here, we've got 15 used, and then here's some more new over here. I don't know what this column is for. It doesn't concern me so much. I'm more concerned with maybe a little bit in here, but the FBA. Now I'm going to show you generally down here on the left. Let's go down lower left now. Let's go down here. You're going to see it's already populated that $12.88 in here. ScoutIQ knew that's where you wanted to sit, and Scanlister knows that too. Basically, there's $12.88. Remember the buy price of 50 cents? There it is. Remember I put that little 50 cents. If your book cost you $1, that would show up there. It's taking away some profit. So it's taking away and making it, instead of $5.19, $4.69, okay? I'm going to show you why I do that. Now I could set that to 0, but I do something in Amazon that I pay for, and that's why that is there, okay? So I have to keep that 50 cents in mind when I'm doing books, but generally speaking, I will sell any kind of book over like $1.50. I will make money on that book as long as it can sell quickly, especially $1, $2, $3. Yeah, this is what you're looking at. You're going to do a lot of $2, $3, $4, $5 books, and you're going to see some big hitters in here. But basically, the bread and butter is the $2, $3, $4, $5, $6 net profit books. So I got to keep, I'm just going. This video is just going. I am going to show you down in the lower left again. We are going to look at the net profit. So this is the net profit right here. If you take a look at this, it's $314. Now I just changed it to 50 cents. I was setting it as high as $1 here, just kind of for my mind. It was just easier. I just moved it back down to 50. So that 31 was set for $1. I just set it down to 50 cents. That's where it should be for me. So I just went ahead and did that. But that buy cost originally on the first 31 books was set at $1, and that's why you're seeing that 31 times 1 is $1. All right, one other thing I want to do here is I want to open up a window over in the right-hand corner here. This right-hand corner, I'm going to go open the filter button. There's a filter button. You click that, a window opens up, and we want to click Prime. Boom. We just do a little check mark in Prime, and up pops the Prime. Now this is all the Prime offers right here. And if you look, you're going to see the lowest price first, and that's the $12.88. So there's the $12.88 for that book. And you just scroll down, you can see some get higher, 13, 14, used like new, that kind of thing. So what we are going to do is we're going to make sure we either price it here or just a penny or two under to start. And some people are going to go, oh, that's just like undercutting. No, it's a starting point, because I might get undercut a little bit too somewhere. So it's just a starting point. So $12.88, and the condition is good. That plays a big part. If this was all acceptable, which means the books are pretty beat up, you might come in at $1 higher, maybe $2 higher. But here it's good. I know that this book is in very good condition. It is no writing in it. There's no highlighting in it, all that kind of stuff. So I already know that this is a very good book. So I'm gonna price it and go back to my lower left corner, $12.88. I'm just gonna change it to $12.87. I know some people don't like that, but what we're gonna do here is we wanna have a chance as soon as it hits, boom, if that number hasn't changed, that ours will be the lowest price and it goes out quickly. That's what I'm trying to do here. You'll see the grade button. So if we click the grade button, we've got to grade the book. Up pops this little window here. And what's really cool about this window is you can set your own grading principles, basically. You can see the default is hidden, is lit up in blue. Used, very good. Now, since I already know this book is very good, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and hit book in very good condition. And this is just me. This is how simple it is. Ships direct from Amazon. No highlighting or writing inside this book. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm clicking those three. You'll notice down here in that little box, that's where it put it. Now, let's say that you want to create your own condition. There's a little plus box right here. You would hit that little plus box, and now you can write a description of maybe something else that you like, and then hit save. And this particular little box area will now have that. You can scroll down and you can say, oh, I want to use that one. It just saves you time. Now, occasionally, you may need to type something inside the little white box. You can click in your cursor in there and you can just start typing, just start typing. And you can add something to it, like maybe it has a signature or something like that. You can add to it. So that's basically what it is. All I can tell you here is if the book has some issues like highlighting, writing, maybe some dog-eared pages, just put that in. But don't overcomplicate it and try and tell every little piece of story about what the book's got a little nick in the corner. No, keep it simple. Keep it very simple. All right, so I'm done with this book. I'm going to hit Finish Grading, hit the button, and it's doing its thing. It's going to print us a label. Now, here's something that's interesting. This window pops up. Now I've already had this book in once before and it's sold because there's quantity of 0. All right, so I could use replenish here, and I could go over here and see down below it, just below it says relist using a new SKU. So if I click that, it will print me a new SKU, or I could use the same SKU. So I'm going to hit relist selected SKU. So I got to click this little replenish, the check mark there. Now it's changing to 1, and I'm going to hit relist selected SKU. Out pops our label, and our label then goes over the UPC code. Now, something you got to remember here about the UPC code. Some books, I've noticed it a lot with sheet music books and those kind of books. They sometimes have 2 barcodes, one here and one up here. You got to get the one up there. If that's the case, just rip off a little piece of the white and then cover the other barcode up. You got to make sure you get every UPC because their scanners are going in automatically and scanning, and if it sees that one, it's going to have a problem. So make sure that you cover all UPC codes, okay? Now, let's go into a couple more. We'll go real quickly. We'll try to go as fast as we can here. This book is A Little Life, and it's Hannah. I can't say her last name, but that's the book. I would say the book is in very good condition from what I'm seeing, so I've already made that. The other thing is thumb all the pages. Why do we do that? We want to check for highlighting and writing. We want to check for money. You never know when some money is going to fall out. Now, I will tell you, I'm straight up honest, I've only found $1. $1. All those books, I've gotten more than those books, and I've only found $1. All the ones you scan in a bin, if you've got a bin, you scan them, you're constantly looking to see if there's money in it, something in it. You never know. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So we're going to scan it. We scan it with the app. Up on the screen as this book is going to pop up, and we're going to show you something a little bit different here. just because I want to show you every part of the app. If you take a look at it, look at our rank now on this book. Our rank is 381. Wow, this book's going to sell quick. And the e-score tells us that it's 151. Now, if you look at the profit, and if we tap that profit button, okay, it breaks it down for us. Now, I want to come back. So let's come back. So hit the X. And what I'm doing here is I'm noticing that it's telling me I want to price against Amazon at $12.32. Look at the little orange box now is highlighted on Amazon, which is selling this new. And I got to go, okay, what's going on there? So we're going to scan this in. So let's scan it into Scanlister, okay? And we're going to leave our app open here. All right, so now it's up. And up pops the app again, so hopefully it's up on there. It should be on the screen. You'll notice that the used buy box is telling us $9.57. So what I want to do here is I want to go and open my FBA. So we go up to the upper right to the filter. We hit the prime button again. Ooh, look at, we've got a $12.88 right there. But the problem is, look at, Amazon is selling it new for $12.32. That's not going to sell. These guys are not using a repricer. Do you see what I'm talking about? If you have your repricer set, it's going to come in here and come down below that. This one's $12.88. All of these are just way too high, way too high. And how do we make the adjustment? This is what we do. Tap the profit button again. Look at what Amazon's telling us to do. Look at the list price over here. The list price is telling us $11.09. That's below the $12.32 of the new one from Amazon. We're going to only make $2.14 once we take away everything. Once we take away our my particular buy cost, take away 50 cents, I'm going to make about $1.65. Why am I selling a profit book that makes only $1.65? Because as soon as it hits, it's going to give me $1.65. That's why. You got to have many books. You got to have dollars, $2, like we said, 7, 10, 100. You got to have them all. You got to have them all. So we hit the X, and we go back. We know that we're going to set it at, what was it again? I got to go back now. Now I got to go back. 11.09. So we're going to come over here to our price, lower left corner. We're going to put in 11.09. That's it. We go over here, we hit the grade button, and we know that this book is in very good condition, so I just have to go through the motions. Click no highlighting, because there is no highlighting or writing. I like to let people know that on certain books, not all books, but certain books. And we hit the finish grading button. And guess what? I've sold this book 2 times before. Now, this is even more information for you. Take a look at this. You've got this twice, and you can see 12, 10, 20, 21. I'll show you that in a little bit, but that's one time I sold it. This is an older one. But you can see the condition is used very good. You see right there? This one below it was good condition. I want to click the replenish button above that. Again, if you didn't get this box, it would automatically print the label out. You're not going to get this box every single time. Only if you have sold this book. And it's actually showing that, okay, so if you click it, now when we click it, it replenished quantity of 1. So I'm going to relist selected SKU. If it wasn't, it would be the other way. If I want to just put it in and create a list and show me that, hey, this book sold 1210, you know, you could do that. You could do that. But I'm going to hit replenish, and I'm going to hit relist selected SKU. All right, we got our label. We cover the book up. Off and running. All right. Next up is, you get a lot of this. This is the kind of books you want to find. Stuff like this. Real World SRE. The Survival Guide for Responding to a System Outage and Maximizing Uptime. you're going to find, if you do enough books, you're going to find a lot of interesting and strange titles, but they'll alert you because that's where some of them can be worth a lot of money, So let's go ahead and scan this one with ScoutIQ. Okay, it should pop up. I'm also going to go ahead and scan it into Scanlister so we can get it up. There it is. The picture matches. Everything's cool. Okay. Now, wow, we're going to make a few more dollars here. But guess who's sitting on it? If you look down on the lower right corner, brand new at Amazon is $39.99. $39.99. That's new. Now, here's a tip. If it's new and you're acceptable, it's going to be a little tougher trying to stay too close to Amazon. You might have to lower your price, but I already know that this book is very good. Very rarely do I put like new. I mean, it has to be really obvious. You do that at your own peril. Most of the time, most of my books that are even close to like new are marked very good. They will sell. Don't panic. Don't try and cheat it up to like new and then get dinged for feedback. You don't want to do that. If you have a new book, it's wrapped in cellophane or plastic, then you mark it new and you just can compete against new. You just come down a couple of bucks and it says it's new, and they're going to take yours. They'll take yours. All right. So Amazon is at $39.99. Okay. What are we going to price this book at? Because look at the used buy box. The used buy box on the left is $37.98. What do? We tap the profit again. All right. We tap the profit. And the list price, it's telling us to put it at against Amazon because it knows you're pricing against Amazon. They want $35.99. $35.99. Now, if I exit down, I can also say, okay, it's got a 12E score, so this sells probably about 45, 46, 50 times a year, this particular book. So it sells pretty good. 7 used, 8 new. And if we go over into Scanlister down here in the lower left corner, remember it's $37.98. We don't want to be that price. We want to be what? $35.98. So $35.99 is what it says. $35.99. This is the beauty of ScoutIQ. This is how you compete against Amazon, is by doing this. Okay. Now, some of these books over here are showing $32.67. I'm just noticing that. So you know what? I'm just noticing it. So what I'm going to do, see, this is why I'm live, and it's it changes constantly. So this $32.67 over here, and whoops, hold on, Mike, wake up. I gotta wake up, guys. Sorry. I'm gonna click the filter button and go to Prime. Let's go to Prime. There you go. Now that was FBM. You look on the left column here on ScoutIQ, you see it's 37. So we're gonna sell this book. Sorry guys. Hey, it's great to do a video like this, but sometimes I run into a little bit of a glitch. So the left column is fulfilled by merchant. The right here, Amazon is selling it for basically $40. We're gonna sit in at $35.99. I will guarantee you that our book will sell pretty darn quick. We're gonna be the lowest price against everybody. So $35.99, we're gonna make $23.38. I forgot to click the Prime. Remember, there is power in Prime. Prime over FBM. It doesn't look like it works, but it does. There are certain times where the Prime and the fulfilled by merchant are too wide, and that could be a problem. But most of the time, look at that. Okay, where do you think they're going to go? They're going to take my book at $35.99. So, all right, let's hit the grade. Let's quickly go over to the grade button. We know it's very good. Ships direct. No writing, no highlighting. Hit finish grading. Now watch this one. I don't remember having this book, so let's hit finish grading. The box does not show up. The label's just going to print. There it is. So when you have never sold the book, that box will not show up. We cover the UPC code. 3 down. We're going to move along here pretty quick now, guys. Next one up. See, every book is a little different. That's another key. This one here is The Therapist's Guide to Psychopharmacology. Wow. Working with patients, families, and physicians to optimize care. Just a lot of wild books out there. Another drink, guys. You watch some of my videos, I don't like to cut. I like to just keep going the best I can. Best I can. All right. We take a look at this one. We can net a profit of $10.41. The rank is good, 203. The E-score is solid at 38. Amazon is on it at $37. We don't have to worry about competing against that because our price is going to be around $20 or $19.99. Nothing funky here. So we're going to scan this in. All right. So it was telling us to put it in at $19.99. Let's go up here to filter. Let's do Prime just to take a peek, see what's going on in the Prime world. There you go. $19.99. Now, interesting here. See, this is why we're doing this. Now, you've got one book. It's showing you at $19.99 good. You're holding a very good book, and the next one is used like new at $29.99. And then you've got Amazon at $37. I would push this book personally. I would put this book in higher than that $19.99. So I'm going to come in here, basically, I'm going to come in at about 20, I'm going to say $27.95. I'm going to come in at like, let's come in at $25.95. We're up against that like new a little bit. So I'm going to come in at $25.95 between the $19.99 and here. We're going to let this guy go. It sells 38 times, so this should go. And then I should be the lowest next Prime offer right there. So we're going to hit the grade button. And we're going to hit booking very good, ships direct, no highlighting or writing. You can see, I mean, I picked these books out, but you can tell different conditions. You know when you got a good book, a very good, and an acceptable. You just kind of know it. So hit finish grading. Probably have not sold this book before. So put that one on. Real quick tip too, when I say, hey, I haven't sold this book before, there is many things we can do in Amazon. A lot of times we got to go in and clear some of these old items that have sold. So not every time. I mean, I might go in once every 6 months and clean that out. That's for another video. So please keep that in mind. I might have sold that book and cleared out something a year ago. So it's not always that you haven't sold the book unless you clear out some of your dead wood listings behind the scenes. So don't get too confused. All right, we're going to go into a big hitter, what we call a big book. Look at this one, An Album of Fluid Motion. And you will find these kind of books out there. I'm going to put up the price here. All right, up comes that. I'm going to scan it in also to Scanlister. Make my life a little easier, I guess. I'm going to scan that into Scanlister. All right, look at this one. It's An Album of Fluid Motion. Look at what the price is on this thing. It comes up and tells me it wants me to sell this book at $303. That's what it was. I clicked it down. I don't think this book's going to sell for $303. Now, that's me personally, you know, looking at this, and we'll explain that. But this book will definitely sell for about $155 pretty easily, I think. It sells 19 times a year. I mean, 19 times every 3 months. So that's 60, 80 times a year, roughly 80 times a year. And that's really, really good, really cool. And its rank is 976. It's high, it's a little bit high, but that's okay. So how do I come up to this conclusion? Number one is the 303 is just way too high, way out of range. If we click something here, I'm going to show you on the ScoutIQ app. Go down to the lower gray bar and look for live. You see the word live? Don't click it. Next to it looks like a roller coaster. It looks like a little, we're going to click that. And it's going to open up this little graph called a Keepa graph. Another great feature of getting a ScoutIQ is you get the Keepa graph. Now I'm not going to go and confuse you here with this thing because this confuses me too. Bottom line is here, we want to see if this book is selling, okay? If you take a look at the green wave or graph as it's bouncing up and down, when it's doing that, it's telling you the book is selling, okay? That's the beauty of Keepa. It doesn't tell you the price it sells for. It just kind of tells you where it's selling. I mean, that it has sold. The black line is the used price. And every time it sells, it kind of gets repriced around. And you can see up to 300 and then down. The black line's all over the map. So we got to do a little bit of detective work. One of the things I like to do is I like to go and cross-check on eBay. So I'll scan that book into eBay. eBay is always lower than Amazon. So if you see that this book is selling for, let's say, 120 or has some comps at 120 or 100, you know that you're going to be solid at that 150 range. Don't be confused by the Keepa. The green means it's good, it's selling. If that green line isn't moving around, it's dead. That means your E-score is low. If this was 151, that green line would be bouncing up and down all over the place tighter. Okay, so that's Keepa. You use it to check how it's selling. That's what I use it for. If you do get it in Scanlister, if you go over here, I think this is it. It'll pop up Keepa. I clicked that little thing and it popped it up. That was the lower right. But you don't get the green. You don't get the green line, and that doesn't help you about sells. How many times it sells. But you can see right here, it's been sitting here and then boom, boom. It's just, that doesn't tell you that it's sold. That's where it was priced at. You just don't know. So I'm thinking that this is right around $150 book. That's my opinion on that one, about 150, that roughly. All right, so let's hit the filter over here and check prime. There are no primes. So all of these guys here are basically fulfilled by merchant. They're holding this particular book. Now, I could decide to hold this book and also sell it fulfilled by merchant, and I could, but people like the prime. And so I'm thinking to myself, why not? I'll take a shot and I'll throw it in. There are some that I don't, but I'm going to throw this one in just to do it. Again, it's a personal preference. Some like to do it, some don't. This is why we're talking about it, various books today, to try to give you an idea when you come up against this. So if we look over here in the left column, we know the lowest fulfilled by merchant is 155, right? And we'll make $124 on this book, 124 bucks. So it's telling me to do 153.93, which is the used buy box, and that's up top. You can see it. I'm going to drop it down to a nice number. I'm not greedy, hey, it's going to make me some good money. I'm going to put 149.95. That's what I'm going to put in here. And that's what I'm going to set it for. I'm going to click the grade button. I got to look at this one. I know there's no writing in this one. You got to be really careful. Once you get into the bigger books and the more expensive ones, really make sure that the book is in good condition. And then compare to what everybody else has got, just to look around and see what they've got. I'm going to tell you that this book is very good. I don't see any issues with it. There's no writing. I'm going to do a quick double check real quick. Yep, all the pictures are there. No curls or anything. Perfect. Let's go ahead and do very good. Ships direct. No writing and highlighting. We got to put that in there on this one. Hit the finish grade button. Boom. There we go. We got 36 of them in. We are done with the books as far as that goes. I'm going to show you one more book, and then we're going to get on to Repriceit and how to get them to Amazon, okay? Up first, this looks like a really good title. I'm going to show you what this is about. This is deeper insight into the Illuminati formula. Looks like potentially a good selling book. So up comes, I'm going to go scan it for you. I'm going to show you another beauty of ScoutIQ. I scanned it. I'm going to pop it up for you. You're going to see it on the screen right now. It's on the screen. But what you're going to notice here is you would make $14.83. Amazon is on it. 404K is the rank. 45 is the E-score. You could really do well. You could make some money on this book. Problem is, look down in the lower left corner. what do we see? We see the book has a red circle with an R. That means restricted. We cannot sell that book on Amazon unless we have approval. It's hard to get approval. That's the other thing about Amazon. You see all these retail arbitrage guys, all of these people say, hey, go sell DVDs, go sell all of this other stuff. It's not easy. You have to be ungated. And this particular publisher does not want this particular book sold unless you're maybe a dealer or you just have the permission. So it's really difficult. I don't want to jump through all the hoops and do that. So this book is a prime candidate for eBay. So I will put that book on eBay. So when you get that restricted, it's really good. Why? Because maybe you don't want to buy it. Maybe it's $5 and you go, well, you know what? I'm not going to take the chance on it. ScoutIQ just saved you $5 because if they didn't tell you it was restricted, you come back and guess what happens? You scan it into Scanlister and then it goes to look at it on Amazon and it pops up a note on Scanlister that this book is restricted or blocked, gated. So ScoutIQ, like I said, it's an amazing piece of software. It just is flat out amazing, and it saves you a ton of hassle. It tells you a lot of stuff. So there's ScoutIQ. There's most of Scanlister. We still got a little bit of work to do inside Scanlister. Now we're done, and we've got to get these books to go over to Amazon. And now it's like, okay, now what do I do? You're all done. All your books are in. We're going to list these on Amazon. We're going to send them over to them. If you go to the lower left corner down here, there's the word list. See it? List way down here in the lower left corner. We're going to click that little button there. And it says here, are you sure you want to list these items fulfilled by Amazon? If you had the wrong setting clicked, it would say, are you sure you want to send these fulfilled by merchant? We always want fulfilled by Amazon if you're doing fulfilled by Amazon. That's me. There it is. Yes, I do. I'm going to click yes. One more little button's going to come up. Listing complete. Please wait 5 minutes. This is a key, guys, right here. Do not go into Amazon, which I'm going to show you in a little bit, and try and instantly do everything else that you see. Wait, I'm going to show you how you can check to see that these got to Amazon and are uploaded to Amazon, and we'll take it to the next step. So we click OK. You gotta wait. All right, so now that's off to the great Amazon. And next up, we're going to take a look at, while we wait, we've got to wait for that to go over there. We're going to take a look at Repriceit. All right, guys, we're going to go into Repriceit. I am now logged into the dashboard of Repriceit, and again, this one looks a little more confusing to people, and this one can be a little bit of an issue just because you just don't know what the settings are. I'm not going to show you every one of my settings, okay? There's 5 of them that I use. The video will be just too long. It's already long enough. I'm going to give you a general. There are some other videos out there that some guys will go through, and maybe I'll do a complete Repriceit and kind of break it all down the road. But this should help you at least try to understand it. I'll give you 3 of the 5. All right. So first off, down here is your repricing templates. These are templates. If you look in the center here, I've created templates and new items. 30 to 60 days, 60 to 120, 120 to 180, and 180 to 360. A full year, basically, of kind of repricing books. After a certain point, you can set some settings inside Amazon to liquidate your books. I liquidate all my books that do not sell. The best thing you can do is sell about 75%. That's high, but 75% of your books that go to Amazon. Then you're going to have some that you just are duds. They're not going to work out. I have settings that allow them to automatically kick books out after a certain length of time. So basically, we need to create templates for our repricing of the books. And I want certain levels of things to happen. The first 30 days, I want to be very aggressive and see if I can sell a lot of books. If the book stays too long, 30 to 60, It's like you're trying to create more interest in your book. It's going to adjust certain things so that it will be competitive. That's what Repriceit is. Once you set these templates, you're pretty much done, and you don't have to worry about it. So that's why you see the 5 levels here. They are for different amounts of time that each book is in. So if you do, I'm just going to give you a general here. If you click create new template, this is where you will name the template, repricing template name. So you would put like 0 to 30 days, and you're going to be FBA items only. I'm not doing merchant fulfilled in FBA. I'm doing FBA, those only. Down here, I'm not interested in the date range or any of that. On the condition though, I would hit all 5. That's me. Hit all 5. I would click all 5. And then I would add the template. So this is what you're going to do. If you're going to try to copy mine, then you're going to create 5 templates with certain date ranges. The date ranges are from 0 to 30, 30 to 60, 60 to 120, etc. All right. So I'm going to unclick those because I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to go into repricing settings. Is that my settings? There we are. All right, we're back into the repricing settings. So that's how you create the template. Now you have to tell each template what to do. That's the next step. So we're going to start off with the first one, which is new items, just hitting. If we click view, edit, repricing settings, click it. Up pops the repricing template settings, okay? Looks a little daunting. It is not. It's not that hard, not that hard. So we're going to start off with the top line here. You can see I've got this called new items. That's the template I'm working on. So compare your new items only against the other new FBA offers right here. If you take a look at these 2 settings, I only want to compete against, compare your new items only against new items is what I'm saying. You don't want to compete new against used, used against, it doesn't work. So if I've got a new item, I want it to only compete against new. I don't want it to compete against an acceptable. The next one is compare your used items only against used. Makes sense. So both of those are clicked. Now, I have a personal preference down here that you can either do it or not. I exclude acceptable competing offers. So if a book is acceptable and I've got a very good book, I don't want to compare it to that. So I'm going to say do not compare my books to acceptable, at least on the 30-day level. Then I have just launched competing offers. That's somebody who's new, because a lot of times some of these new guys will come in and they'll slash a price just to get some book sales going. I don't want that, so I do not let just launch me compete against them. Below that is the seller rating. So that's your feedback. So if you have 80% feedback and below, not going to happen. I don't want to compete against you either. I want to compete against 80% and above. Next is the next line says minimal allowable price, $10.99. Repricer will try to set it for that. But also remember, there are books that you will sell that are $8.99, $9.99. Those are a little bit different situation, but basically that's my minimal allowable price. Don't think that if you put a book in for $8.99, it's going to reprice for $10. That's going to stay competitive to what the other parameters are, but this is a minimal allowable price. Default price to minimum allowable price when price is below minimum. So don't panic with that one. Most people leave it at $10.99. The next one is the high end, and that's $500 maximum allowable price. There's errors out there where you're on a book and it's only $4 or $5, and then somebody prices it wrong and it's like, whoa, what's going on? So you got to kind of be careful and make sure you don't have it so where you get, your book gets pushed up or down. Remember, reprice it doesn't mean it's going to reprice it low. I've had several that have repriced high. They go up and reprice it higher. It works both ways, guys. It works both ways. Now, the next line is maximum number of competing offers to compare against, 6. I want it to compete against 6 books. That's a good solid number. makes it fair. I don't want to compete against one which might be lower, that kind of thing. I want 6. Reprice new items when there are at least this many new competing offers. So if there's only one, then I still want to compete. I'll go against the one. Okay, so you can change that to whatever you want, but if there's only one book in, I want to compete against it. Reprice used items, same thing. 1, I want to compete. I want to make money. I do not have the default price where there are 0 or too few competing offers. I don't have anything in there. Now, if the price of an item goes down more than this percentage, then do not reprice. So if the item, I'm willing to take a little bit of a hit, but if a book is $10 and somebody knocks it down $1.50, let's say $1, whatever, $1.20, $1 something, my repricer will try to be competitive there. Got to be a little careful there, but 15% is a pretty normal kind of setting. If the price of an item goes up more than this percent, same thing. If it goes up more than, I don't want to go anything higher than 50%, that kind of thing. I want to be careful. Repricing modes. Basically, reprice my inventory at the lowest possible competing price. No. Reprice my item at the lowest price by same condition or better. No, I don't want to reprice against it. I always want to reprice my items against the buy box owner. That buy box is what we're trying to capture, and so I want to reprice against him. That's kind of how I want to do it. Now, Repriceit has an intelligent repricing section here. Some guys use it, most seem not to use it. I do not. I haven't experimented with it enough to know. I'm happy with what my settings have been doing, so that's what I do not click that. I only have reprice my items against the buy box owner. This one here I do not do against any sales rank or anything like that. Here is where you're going to, you remember those guys we showed you that they were stuck above the Amazon. Amazon had a new price of like $12.75 and they were at like $12.99. Well, that's because they didn't have a repricer going, I guess, here. They didn't want to compete against it. So never price above Amazon.com. No, I don't ever want to go against them because their book is new. Percentage to price below Amazon when competing directly, you want to at least set it for 10%. You're going to manually set some other things, but a repricer is going to say, hey, you had an accident here. We're going to at least put 10% below. So if Amazon's selling it at 20, you're going to come in at 18. So it's going to protect you there, okay? How much do you want to price below or above the offer you are competing against? Basically, if somebody lowers the price, I'll lower it by a nickel. That's it, a nickel. That's basically what's going on there. I do not do a percentage. I do not do a percentage below or a percentage above. Neither one of those. The following settings apply only to FBA items. Compare your FBA items against both FBA and non-FBA. No, you don't want to do that either. You don't want to compete against both of them. No. Compare your FBA items against only other FBA items. There you go. You want that one. So the other one's just the opposite. Non-FBA offers if no other FBA offers are found. No, I just want to compete against FBA. All right. The following settings apply only to your merchant fulfilled items. There's nothing there. We're not doing it. This thing looks like it's going to scare you, but don't worry. Upload my price changes to Amazon.com after repricing. Basically, it's telling you once you do the repricing manually, it's going to send it right away and it's going to reprice your books. It's just warning you that that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Wow. All right, that one is done. Let's go back into repricing settings and we'll try and flip through some other ones really quick here. Let's go to 60 and 120 just to give you some changes that we make. If you notice now, the first two are the same. Those are always going to stay the same. The next one is used acceptable. We now are going to compete against them. We will now compete against just launched, and the seller rating is still 80%. Minimum allowable price is still $10.99. Maximum is 500. We've dropped the number of books down to 4. So now we're going to compete against less books. We're trying to figure out, can we get a better price by dropping 2 of our books that we wanted from 6 to 4. Same thing, reprice new is 1 and 1. Now if the price dumps 40%, we might consider doing that. Okay, and if it goes up a little bit, we might go 100%. Actually, this one I'm going to change back to 50. I always leave it at 50. Thought I saved that the last time, but no, I'm going to save that one to 50. So I changed that to 50. Reprice my items against the buy box owner. That stays the same. Now, repricing against Amazon, I drop a little bit more, 15%. Okay, and the fixed price adjustment still stays at a nickel. Everything else here stays the same. Basically, you're just changing a few things up in the top section here on repricing to help yourself out. That's all you're doing. So let's take this one and let's go to the last one. Let's go all the way down to 180 and 360 and take a look at that. This is the most aggressive. We still keep the top 2, acceptable and just launched or unchecked. We've lowered it down to 70%. For seller rating, still $10.99, still $500. Now we've dropped down to 2 competing offers. So we're willing to go down to the lowest 2 and make sure we can compete. If the item goes down more 50%, then we're going to be, hey, we'll sell it. And this one, I still need to change this one. I think I need to put this at 50. I don't know why. I don't want them to go up the other way. I don't know why. See, this is why you got to go through it and clean it up. I just don't know if that was just hit for some mistake, but anyhow, I want that at 50. Reprice my items against the buy box owner, stays the same. Now look at Amazon. Now we're down here at 20%, so we're going 20% below Amazon. So if that book was 20, now we're dropping down to 16 to see if that can help. We keep the same nickel. Everything else stays the same. The only things you're changing up here, guys, if we go back up, are the number of competing offers, who we're competing against, a few little things like that. That's all it is. It's not a rocket science type situation here. And then you can just set in between. I can tell you that it works. The settings that I've had, I'm happy with. I haven't had to go in and tweak it. This is the first tweak I've made in who knows how long. So that's basically Repriceit in a nutshell. One last thing. It's not in a nutshell. That's the basics here. We have one more thing to look at, and that's how we schedule it. I told you this video is going to be long. It's going to be everything in here, everything in this video. All right. We want to take a look at fixed schedules and how we set a schedule. They let you do 20. Some people will just do 1, maybe 2, maybe 3. That means what time are you going to want to reprice? Some people like to price 3 times a day. I'm taking all 20. That's me. And there's a reason why I think about that. If a new book comes in and it's like, let's say it's $30, and I'm not going to reprice that book for 2 hours, okay, or 3 hours, and mine's going to stay at 30, and the next book that came in is at $29.75, I potentially could miss out on a sale because I'm 3 hours out. But if I'm doing it about every hour, maybe I got a better shot. That's my thinking on it. Other people do it differently. So basically I set templates or times. You can create a new schedule if you click on it. I don't know if it's going to let me, but here it is. So you just create a new schedule. You can set the day, daily. I do it daily. You can do a time, what time, and then you can do all templates, meaning it's going to do all of them. Let me go back here to schedules. So there it is right there in a nutshell. So you just create these times that you want the template. I want all of them. You can just do certain templates too. If you just want to do, let's go back in, let me see, create a new schedule. If you see, you can just pick one of the templates, not me. I choose all templates. So all my templates are going to be scheduled, right? It takes about 15 minutes, I think, for smaller sellers and up to an hour for larger sellers. So that is doing the scheduling part. Pretty straightforward and simple. You pick how many times you want to do it, and it will do it. You can also, what you can do? You can do, let me go back in and show you one more thing. Repricing schedules. No, I want settings. I'm going to go to settings. Now you can view and edit repricing settings. I'm sorry, I'm doing the wrong thing here. Repricing reports. If you look at the repricing reports, you can see that it is doing this here all the time for me. If I view it, let's do a later one. All right, this is better. Sorry about that, guys. That was too early of one. Look at the price change. Look at this column here, and you can see what I'm talking about. Repriceit is taking it down 18, taking it down 2 cents, taking it 47. It's constantly adjusting your books, okay? Look at this one. I think this one, it got pushed up $1.04, okay? $1.04. Like I told you, it can go up. This one went up 95 cents. It's trying $1.38, so they go up and down, up and down. So there you go. So those that's it in action. That's what it's doing for you. It's going to show you the template applied. You'll notice new items. A lot of new items are getting, because people are coming in constantly and putting books in, so you just don't know. 61 20 days, 30 to 60 days. So it's constantly adjusting for you. All right. That's Repriceit in a nutshell. Long video. Woo! I love it. I love it. All right. Up next, let's go into Amazon. Into Amazon we go, guys. Into Amazon. I am now in the Amazon seller portion of Amazon. And I'm going to see. I haven't refreshed. So let's hit refresh. Let's hit refresh. Today, so far, today is 3:30 on a Friday. I have sold $435 in books. My total balance is $4,159. This is an IPI score. What that is that's kind of the way Amazon rates you, and you want to make sure that that number's, I think, above 400, you're good. Yeah, but you know, high as possible. That's basically it. Nobody knows the true formula. It's crazy. Amazon has a lot of different ways of looking at things. Basically, $435 in sales today so far. Me, I'm happy at 500. I'm trying to get higher, and I have recently been doing 600 and 700 consistently. That's my goal. I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to become the next Barnes and Noble or somebody like that, or the next Amazon bookseller. I'm not trying to do that. Total price, I mean the total balance right now, they owe me $4,159. Basically, they pay every 2 weeks. You can get more money out if you want. If it's there, they will allow you to do that. But my total balance is $4,159. That's the money that they owe me. I will tell you, just so you know, and I'm straight up, I get about $2,500 to $3,000 every 2 weeks from Amazon. And that is me selling basically about 800 to 1,000 books a month. 800 to 1,000 books a month. So that kind of gives you an idea. All right, we'll get back into that in a little bit, but let's scroll down. We got to find out, did our books make it in from Scanlister? And we've got to scroll down here to the lower bottom section of this. And if you look down here, you're going to see add products via upload right there. This is part worth the video right here. Just some of these little sections. So we hit add products via upload. And if we look right here is our uploaded books. This one right here, okay? We know that that's the recent one for 34, so it is done. The status is done. But we're not done with Scanlister. That just tells us, okay, we have one more step to do with Scanlister. So we got to go down here to the circle with the arrow, Scanlister, click it. Now you go, what now? They're all gone. They're all gone. But if you go down to this lower middle section, look for shipping plan and click that word shipping plan. Whoops, what in the world is going on? 38, we're gonna, It's 38. Let me go back into Amazon really quick and see what in the world did I do here. Nothing major, guys. Why is it selling 34? Interesting. So let's do this real quick. I'm going to click it. I don't know why. That should be 38. There's something screwball there. We're going to see. That's why we got to do this. We're going to do it on live. All right. So anyhow, we're going to do this and we're going to find out what those books are in a second. So let's go 38 here. We're going to name this plan. We're going to do this. What I like to do for my plan name for Amazon is like to put the number of books, which is 38. And then if you take a look over here, I'm going to put the date of 06 tab 18, because that's the date the books are going to go in 2022. So I have filled that part in. We're going to hit OK here. We're going to find out what's going on, but this is a good thing for us. We need to figure this out, what happened. I haven't had this happen. This is kind of crazy. So boom, hit OK. The books now are instantly sent over to Amazon. So now we're going to go over here to Amazon. And we got to go, okay, now where do we go? So now you click the upper left to Amazon Seller Central. Come on. All right, we're going to go down to the bottom down here, and we're going to find FBA shipments. This word here, FBA shipments. Click it. Now over here is we're going to deal with this continue with last shipping plan in a second. I want to show you lower left here. Lower left is where you find your restock limits. If you click this and it opens up a window, it's going to tell you how many books you can put in or how many items in this particular area. So I can put in 16,000 books. I have, it says my quantity is 4,099. I do not have that many in. There's some things that they do that they count against you. I do not have that many in, but there's 16,400 is what I could put in. Okay, so that's where you find your restock limits. A lot of people get confused on that one. Let's go up here, continue with last shipping plan. Let's click that. I'm going to find out what's going on here in a second. Let's go down to the bottom. No, they're in here, but what's going on? You are not approved. See, this is perfect. This is perfect. What has happened here, just so you can see, a little life. So for some reason, this is really a good thing to learn here. So basically, it has doubled my quantities, okay? This is really a good exercise. So when you see this, a little life, it doesn't do that. I might have done something here, but we can now make an adjustment. I do not have 2 a little life, so I'm going to change that to 1. I'm also going to scroll down and show you something else because I put a book in now. I know why I did this. I put a book in that says it was not restricted, showing restricted on the ScoutIQ at the time. This particular book is restricted, and it's telling me right here. It says you are not approved to sell this item. Approval is required. I already pulled the book out. I just forgot why I did that. Now, how do you correct that? It's really simple. Over here on the right, you just click the X. Now it's gone. There is no quantity. Now down here, getting the love you want, that was the red book. I don't know. I guess maybe I had double did it. Change that one down to 1, and now that is changing. There's no 2s in here. I'm double checking. I'm good. I think I'm good. Yep. All right, I'm good. Therapist guide, an album. There's the big one, an album of fluid motion. So this is correct. We're gonna hit the word continue. All right. Wow. All right, we're in Amazon and we hit the word continue, and this is probably the screen where most people get confused. Right here, this particular little area. If you take a look, you don't know what to do. You look down here, this little radio button in the lower right corner, it's grayed out. You can't click it, can't do anything. You're stuck. You go, well, what am I supposed to do, Amazon? It's right here. who preps these books? That means it wants to know. We're right now, it's wanting to know, are we printing labels? What are we doing? Who's prepping this? If there was something that said you got to put it in a poly bag or something, who's doing that? Merchant, that's us. We click merchant. Okay, let's go down. Look at, it's still grayed out. What next? You got to go to apply to all. And up here, you hit that little drop down and no prep needed. Choose. That means when it says no prep needed, some people want Amazon to do all the labels. No, I don't want that to happen. They'll charge you per label just to do that. I don't need that. I'm going to do it myself. Because you're going to get down to this page and look at the radio button now is ready to go. Click continue. All right, we just checked down here. Everything looks cool. No other notices or notifications. This one here, we hit continue again down lower right. All right, now here is where you're going to see that 50 cents that I talk about, the 50 cents. It's going to take a second. It's looking, it's placing. What happens here is, let me explain to you guys. If you do a box of books and you put a box of books down there and you come to this point here and you do not do this one thing that I do, is potential to have your shipment split. It sucks. Imagine this. You got 35 books in there and Amazon says, I want to split. I want you to ship your 4 books to here. I want you to ship 1 book to there and 30 books to there. That could happen, especially early on. Could happen. I don't want that. Don't want that at all. I pay Amazon about 35 cents a book to not have that happen. Now, I could probably get lucky and I probably could go back into this setting that I'm going to show you and change that and be able to basically save myself a little bit of money, but I'm saving myself a headache from them splitting a shipment. That's why that 50 cents was down below. Okay, it really should be about 35, but I build in a little bit of safety. That's what that is. But how do you get this set, this placement? How do you tell Amazon to do that? I'm going to go up here. I'm going to open up another window of Amazon up here. And if you go to this the little wheel here, upper right corner, okay, I just opened another window. I'm just trying to show you. So there's a little wheel and you go down fulfillment by Amazon, right down here, click it. You are going to see inbound settings. You see this inbound settings? If you hit edit, it's going to tell you right here, this inventory placement option. Distributed inventory placement. Amazon will determine the distribution of your inventory among 1 or more fulfillment centers. This may include multiple shipments for individual seller SKUs. That's what could happen. I pay for it. Inventory placement service. All quantities of a single seller SKU will be assigned to a single fulfillment center determined by Amazon during the shipping process. So a per unit service fee applies. That's that fee. That's the fee. Okay. So back to the screen. That's what the placement is. If you want to take a shot and you want to not have to pay that, that's fine. You don't have to. You can test it out and see if they split your shipment. I bet you if I probably got rid of that, I might try. I might not get split, but the first time I get split, I'm not going to be happy. I wouldn't be happy. All right, let's get going here. Approve and continue. All right, so we hit approve and continue. Takes a second for it to do its magic. All right, there it is. Everything's in there, and it's assigned me a shipping ID and everything. We hit work on shipment. A lot of steps here, just a lot of little steps. All right, scroll down a little bit, and right here you're going to get this little window, the shipping service. We are not going to change anything on this shipping service because we're going to use Amazon partner UPS. So that stays all the same. Do not touch that. Come up here, this little radio button, please select an option. I do 1 box at a time. I don't do 20, I don't do 30, I just manage 1 and just keep going. I'm going to hit everything in 1 box. Click it. Up pops your books again. You can see them, they're all populated in here. And up pops this little window here, and you've got a box weight and a box dimensions. And I always know what my box dimensions and weight are. I put 49, even though I have 48. I know it's 21 by 16 by 13. That's what my box size is. So I know all of that. Scroll down to the bottom, and you've got to hit confirm, the little confirm button. Shipping charges, they're going to charge us for shipping. Hit calculate. Wait till you see how reasonable this shipping is. It's basically media mail on steroids. It is $9.79 for that whole box. So you hit there, and where's that being calculated? ScoutIQ. Remember, ScoutIQ is doing that for you. So it's already built into your profit. $9.79, accept the charges. All right, now we're at the thermal printing section down here. So I'm going to stop for a second while I switch papers, and then I will be back to show you the next step. All right, we are back and ready to do the next step. If you click this ship date, if you click in this little white box here, up pops the date. They want to know when you're going to ship it in. So I'm going to ship it in tomorrow, which is Saturday the 18th. I know UPS is open. I'm going to ship it. Click it, print box labels, boom. Up pops the labels here. You're going to go and just use file, print in your own printing settings. Make sure your Arkscan printer is set, because you're going to now print on a 4x6 label, because I switched my printer to 4x6 labels. Hit print. I'll just show you the back of the label so I don't have to do any more blurring out, but there you go. That's that. Now, one last step we've got to do. Got the labels. There's one for UPS, one for Amazon. Both of those go on the side of the box. We've got to complete the shipment. So go down to the lower right. You don't see this little button very easy. I don't know why Amazon doesn't put it over here, but it's way over here on the right. So complete the shipment, click it. You are now done with that particular box. That box is now done, okay? All right, up next is something we are going to try and show you how to look at some of your stuff that's going on, that kind of thing. I want to show you a little bit behind the scenes here and how you can kind of see what books are selling, when they're selling, and maybe how long they've been in Amazon, all right? So if you look up here, you've got upper left corner, you got open orders of 182. That just means that the orders haven't shipped or completed or whatever. I sell about 30 bucks a day on average. We're gonna click this. Well, let's find out how many we sold today. If we click on this one, today I've sold 31 so far. Just so you can, if you click on that total sales, it'll tell you 31 have sold. If I click on this open orders of 182, click on that, up pops this little box, and you click this little green 182 here. If we click that, okay, if we click that, it now takes you down to your open orders. And what's great about this is you can set this tab. I set it in order date descending and most recent. I want to see the most recent book first, so that's what's going on here. You're going to see some stuff grayed out. I can't show you that kind of stuff. It's just some ID stuff. And it's basically telling you how fast, 19 minutes ago a book sold, 43 minutes ago, etc., etc., etc. It goes in spurts. It's weird. So it doesn't always just continually sell books. Sometimes you'll sell 4 in an hour, and then you go an hour, nothing, but it goes pretty quickly. I want to show you how to kind of read some of these numbers, because I've changed some things over time. And I used to have this long SKU number in here, and that's why I changed it to 408. You'll see that's the long SKU number I used to have. Right down below it here under this one, it's the grief by the day. You'll see 408. That's, remember, my area code. Remember 6,231? That is the 31st book I put in this year. 6/9/2022. That's the date I shipped it into Amazon, basically. So you can read your listing a little bit here. And then you can say, hey, it sold for $11.21. And if you can go back, you can go back. There's some ways to go back and double check yourself. There's the title. All of that is very visible right there. Again, you can see I've changed my SKUs several times to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, I was trying all kinds of things. And I finally just said, you know what, Mike, just do 408. And here's 408 right here. This one sold recently. This one sold, it was a 6/9. You can see how fast. Today's the 17th. That book sold in 8 days by the time it got there. It took 2 or 3 days to get there too. But there's the SKU 408. 6,237th book, 6/9/22, sold for $10.99. You just scroll down, you can see all kinds of price ranges: $22, $20, $23. But you can see you're going to sell mostly between that, let's say $9 and $20. Here's a $52 Magic Treehouse box set. I got this at a garage sale, paid $5, sold it for $52.44. So yeah, there's some pretty cool books in there. You can do some pretty amazing stuff with Amazon, okay? That should give you kind of an idea, guys. I know the video is long and it's gonna be long, but you can go back and forth, all timestamp sections, and hopefully you can glean from some of this and learn. I hope I gave you a good enough ScoutIQ and a good enough Scanlister and at least functioning Repriceit. Repriceit is, it's not that hard. It's just, it seems so simple, and it is, but there you go. Don't forget, please hit the like and the subscribe button if you're at the end. I really appreciate that kind of stuff. And there you go. In a nutshell, it's all done. All right. See you guys next time.